Hey everybody, it is July 28th and you are listening to Project White Rice, hosted by Zach and Chris.
Hello, I am Zach.
And I am Chris.
And we are talking about a big room with a lot of people in it.
A lot of people.
With weird costumes.
No, but really, we are talking about Comic-Con today.
Yes, Comic-Con 2011, which we attended.
All 4 days.
Yes. Unfortunately, to my legs, we did go all 4 days. But it was very difficult to bend my knees afterwards. That sounds a little bit weird, but it is true. I was sitting down like the day after Comic-Con, and I crossed my legs, and my knee, like my joints, actually started to hurt for no reason. I was like, what the hell? So I straightened them back out, and I was like, ah.
Actually, I kind of had that feeling too, but like after Comic-Con, anytime I bent my knees and I just sat down, like I had to stand up. I was like, I couldn't sit down anymore. I just needed to keep walking, or I couldn't. If I stood still, the pain would come back.
It was pretty bad.
Anyways, Comic-Con was, I think, July 21st to the 24th, Thursday through Sunday at San Diego, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The room was like cold, and then it got hot, and then like on one half of the room it would be hot, like the part with all the games and stuff, and then the other half with like
comic books.
And comic books and all that stuff.
And stuff to sell.
It's so cold.
I think I know why. It's
all
because
body heat.
No, I think not only because of body heat, but I think also because, with all the consoles there, giving off heat and stuff.
Oh.
Because, I mean, like, my Xbox can, heat up, ridiculously when I'm playing. And then it starts building up my room.
I guess so. I guess, yeah, that could be it.
Oh, yeah. So, on the exhibit floor, which is, where everybody goes around, looking at all the cool stands. And
yeah, that's where all the stands are. And then there's, an upstairs bit with, the rooms for panels
and you get to talk to people. And
yeah.
But first, let's get onto the floor. We got to see G4, the G4.
Candice Bailey and Kevin
something. I can't remember.
Piss. Kevin.
Piss, I don't know. I can't.
Kevin. I want to say Hart, but Kevin Hart.
Well, yeah, Zach actually got to go see a live, I think, taping of Attack of the Show.
Yes, I did, and it was very, very awesome.
Could you hear them screaming or anything?
No, I couldn't hear them, but because I was right in front of the dance thing.
Oh yeah,
the
G4 stand was right in front of the stand that was advertising Just Dance 3, which I actually might consider buying.
Really?
Well,
you have Kinect?
It works with Kinect actually.
Do you have Kinect?
Now I'm debating if I should buy one.
I wouldn't. It'll pass. It'll pass.
No, because then it'd be like, if I bought the Kinect, I'll get Dance Central 2, Just Dance 3, and...
So you just want to dance?
Well, it's a party thing. It's a party
How
game.
many parties do you have at your house?
Not a lot. But I can bring it.
Okay, then.
I can bring it.
Your Xbox and Kinect and those games?
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff.
Not really. Anyway, off topic. What was there at the G4? We also got... at Comic-Con, we also got to see Gears of War 3. Who? I got to try out Gears of War 3 after waiting in line.
Oh.
Besides the beta that only played, the multiplayer, I got to try out Horde mode, which was epic.
Yeah.
Still a little glitchy, but pretty epic.
It looks pretty cool. Like, the concept is good. It reminds me of just tower defense games, but I guess that's what they were trying to. They were trying to go more of a fortified. You can fortify an area that you want to stay at.
Yeah.
So I guess they succeeded in that process. I guess you could say.
Okay, since we're moving along games here, we went over to the Sony booth also, and Zach got to fight as a chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever figure out what you were supposed to do?
I died. Because I was trying to shoot this guy, and when you shoot them, they get knocked down. I'm like, oh, cool, they're dead. And then get back up and shoot you in the back. And I'm like, oh god. So I did that like 3 times, and he finally just killed me.
Well, I don't
'cause
know.
I didn't shoot him enough.
I mean, it already got my attention when it was the fact that it was a really bulked up chicken, and I think he had a gun, right?
yeah.
He had a gun.
And I was using these headsets, and I've never used like a gaming headset before. And when I fired the trigger, it freaked me out. I was like, holy crap, because it was surround sound and it was like super loud. And
Oh yeah, you were saying you
I was
couldn't
not
hear
expecting
me.
it.
You couldn't hear me at all.
I couldn't hear anything except for the game, which is amazing because we were in Comic-Con and there was thousands of people talking all at once. So,
Also, I got to try out that new Ratchet and Clank game.
oh yeah, we both did.
Yeah, we both did.
Kicked your ass.
Whatever. Anyway, I got to try out with the 3D glasses, 3D TV. I've never actually tried 3D TV before. I mean, I've seen like IMAX 3D, and that's like okay to me.
It's not really that different.
It's not. It's not like how they do it in like the old 3D where everything comes at you outside of the screen. It's
just kind of like it gives more depth to the environment.
But beyond that, it's not really like jumping at you or anything.
Yeah, no.
3D is not really my thing.
Yeah, 3D. People are going crazy over 3D nowadays, and I don't know. I don't like it.
What else did we see on the on the exhibit floor? Oh wow.
I played a game called Dragon's Dogma, and it was freaking amazing. And I'm going to buy it.
Oh
and
yeah,
I got
that was
2
right.
free
that was,
T-shirts.
I think that
from
was
it.
the Capcom booth, right?
Yeah,
Or-
the Capcom booth where they had
and that place was
Marvel versus Capcom.
They had
tournament?
They had a Marvel versus Capcom 3 tournament, and they had a bunch of Marvel versus Capcom like
variants.
like stage setups where you can play, and then
Oh,
they
yeah.
also had Street Fighter versus Tekken, which I loved. Actually, I thought that was a great game.
I'm not really into those.
Fighting games.
Yeah.
But the only thing is,
But-
like, I think like for all 4 days, the Capcom booth was always crowded because
Oh yeah.
every time, like every time they started, it's always like, this one guy is like champion right now, and see how many people he can beat before he gets
and then
beaten.
One guy got up to like 6 or 7 or something like that. 6 or 7
wins or
wins.
something.
That was crazy.
And then when someone owns him, they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, he just lost."
Well, I mean, he has to get tired
Ah!
of playing after a while. You win 6 or 7 times, you're kind of like,
Yeah, screw it.
yeah. But anyway, back to Dragon's Dogma. It's basically like Monster Hunter. If you've ever played Monster Hunter on the PSP or other types of
I
games.
guess if I had to really describe it for people who've never played Monster Hunter, it would be like a very open world game.
Mm-hmm. Very, very open world. So, like, in Dragon Dogma, like, I was playing the demo, and the guy was kind of walking me through it, and I was walking around, and there was a big old, like, griffin in the air, and we were supposed to kill it. So, I was like, okay, I can take out my bow and shoot it, and the guy's like, well, in the real game, you can go on the mountains, you can go anywhere you can see. And I'm like, I can go on that huge-ass mountain way far in the distance? He's like, yep. I'm like, that's freaking awesome. Anyway,
It'd just be a pain in the butt to probably get over there anyway.
Yeah, it would. I think it's going to be awesome. It's like a third-person thing. You got, like, swords and bows and stuff. You can choose a different class for, like, warrior. I don't know the classes, but he said you can choose different classes. You have an inventory for like healing items. You have a party. So it's kind of like Dragon Age, but 15 million times better. Because Dragon Age was all talk and no action. It's really boring to me. But that's just my opinion. My opinion. But I got 2 free shirts from them because I played it twice.
Ah, yes. One of the major things of going to Comic-Con is to get all the freebies you can.
And I've gotten so many freebies.
Oh my gosh, you can't.
I got
If you go to Comic-Con and you don't buy a single thing, and they give you those gigantic bags, chances are you will fill up that bag.
Yeah, I did. By the end of the 4 days, my bag was completely full, and it weighed like 10 or 11 pounds, just because of like all the
Free stuff that they give.
free crap they give you.
I mean,
I got like 12 posters for free. like a
There was a bu-
crap load of magazines.
And comic books too.
Yeah, well, comic books we got like I got like oh yeah, a lot of comic books actually.
Because yeah, a lot of them were advertising their, it's Comic-Con, advertise their independent comics. And actually, one of the interesting comic books, remember that I was reading about the super,
Hello Kitty.
yeah,
I tried looking that up online. There's nowhere.
it's nowhere.
It's nowhere. I didn't find it.
Okay, it's not like Hello Kitty girly, but this is
No,
different.
it's hell
O
dash O dash
Kitty.
So
And it's okay, how can I describe it? It's like,
the movie 9.
yeah,
with
it's
the
kind of like
puppets.
describing Nine, robots take over the world and humans are wiped out, and this guy decided to create the last hope for, I don't know, whatever,
Life.
for life. And so he injects like some
Super serum, like from Captain America.
like some
Injects
super,
like a super serum into cats.
and there's like 3 cats, and now they are fighting an entire like robot army. And in like this little sample comic that they gave me, it shows like, okay, there's a cat holding a minigun, then there's a leader cat, and then there's a sniper cat.
Oh, this sounds so stupid if you're not if you don't see it.
If you don't,
but-
it sounds stupid, but if you actually look at some of the artwork for it, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And the one thing that really got to me about like reading the comic was the fact that when I was reading the actual like clip that they were giving me, it was the cat ripped out an entire robot's face, or like insides.
It went through the chest of
It went
the
through
robot.
the chest and like ripped out everything, and I'm like,
So I guess that was just to show that they were super
and powerful and
Powerful
all that stuff,
cats.
and I'm like,
of the universe.
I think it's just the artwork that really made it look good. It was a very like post-apocalyptic kind of looking out world.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There's no greenery.
Yeah, no
It's all,
greenery.
like,
It's like all desolate
brown and pale
land.
and-
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It was just a really good comic that I kind of wish there was a real something I could go find out and read some more of it. I'd actually maybe buy the whole comic book series if there was any.
Yeah, we didn't find any, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Anyway, going back to what else was on the floor.
Just a lot of stuff that was underpriced. I was surprised at how underpriced a lot of the stuff was. Like the food, ridiculous, overpriced. But like
Well,
the
actually,
Magic cards that we bought,
oh yeah, Magic the Gathering. We
it was
bought.
like 200 cards or something. This huge stack for $5. It was crazy. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
The only thing about it is just that it was only like commons and a couple of.
I got really
uncommons.
good cards.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I got gypped.
artifacts and
I freaking
artifact
gypped then.
helpers and good stuff.
Anyway, also, if you weren't into the whole floor thing, there was also the panels.
Yeah, so if you got a little over encumbered or, you got sick of the floor or something,
Like you
You
got
could
sick of
go-
all the crowds, you
Yeah.
know.
you can go upstairs. There's still a huge crowd, but what's good about upstairs is there's huge lines. Yay!
Oh, the lines.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
the
I
lines.
went for freaking ever.
People would wait in line for
Went
panels.
from like the roof to the street.
Okay,
Ridiculous.
so one of the things at Comic-Con, if people don't know already or you don't know, is that you can go to a panel and actually meet some of the stars live. Like, you can go meet, if they schedule themselves. I mean, you can meet people
Yeah.
from The Big Bang Theory to the guy from Avatar, the antagonist. I can't remember his name. I think it was like Steve something.
I don't know. Chris O'Donnell.
This guy saw like Chris O'Donnell.
Well, that was on the main floor. But anyway, so if you guys don't know, panels are basically kind of like a Q&A for the actors or people that worked on the thing. And panels also include sometimes like little snips of future shows or
Yeah, like you
future
get like
anything that-
you get like all these sneak peeks and they might show you an episode of a new series or something like that. Something that no one ever really gets to see because they're still working on it.
Yeah.
So
And,
that's like one of the
world
great.
firsts are there. So it's like they show the new episode of like Futurama, let's say. So a new episode of Futurama, it's like no one else has seen it except if you were in that panel and you watched it in Comic-Con. But so okay, so
The panel-
the first
Okay, actually, let's
panels
go.
we went to,
Yeah, our first
like
panels were.
mine was 70s comic book writers, which wasn't really all that interesting, but I guess if you really like comic books and you knew some history about them, then you would kind of be interested in that. And then there's just a bunch of like comic book stuff I got stuck with.
The funny thing about it is that when we actually got to go to those panels, should we really disclose how we got inside Comic-Con? Yeah.
Volunteer.
Actually, yeah. One of the ways we got in was that we volunteered, and we got to work at Comic-Con at the same time, also look around and enjoy as a tourist at the same time.
So basically, volunteership, you have to like sign up way in advance. Like, was it before or like at the same time that they're selling tickets?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
All right. Well, you got to sign up. You can look it up on their website for next year. But basically, you get a pass. You go inside. You choose your assignment for the day. You don't get to pick like what room you want, but you can say like, oh, I want to work on panels, or oh, I want to work on the floor, or something like that. And so at the allotted time, you go to your place. You do your work for around 3 or 4 hours, somewhere in between.
Yeah,
mostly
that's-
3 hours. And then you go back and you can roam around for the rest of the day. And if you have like a later assignment, then you can roam around before, go to your assignment. So basically, the only thing, it's basically a free pass to Comic-Con. You just have to work for 3 hours. And sometimes the work is so menial. It's
Yeah, like
Just-
sometimes it gets boring depending on what
Yeah.
you're getting. But we got to do panels. Well, actually, our first day was we worked the Hasbro line.
oh god.
Okay,
was
surprisingly,
terrible.
okay, so for me, when I go to Comic-Con, I don't expect to buy anything.
Really? I
Like-
expect to buy
Well,
something.
I expect to buy something, but nothing like overpriced, like $20.
Oh, yeah.
or something like that. But that Hasbro line that we were working, that line was ridiculous. How people were wanting to buy like super limited edition, you know, action figures
or
and
something from
ridiculous,
Hasbro.
and I'm just
New
like,
stuff that they were
oh
only
my
selling
gosh,
at Comic-Con.
These guys are really, these people are really determined to actually buy stuff.
It was so basically the line, was from like half the distance of Comic-Con. The whole section or the whole entire
Wall, I guess, like half of Comic-Con's wall from one side, and then like wrapped around
it was
to the other side. It was just ridiculous.
so bad. I don't know why people would wait in that line,
for
but
3 hours just to buy a toy.
they did, and we were like in charge of the line.
Just making
and-
sure that the line and no one starts a riot.
Well, yeah. Also, we had to like break it up so the fire exits weren't blocked or anything. But anyway, so that's not important. But so that's like one of the jobs you can get: line control, make sure people don't cut, stuff like that.
But it's pretty cool if you actually get the chance to talk to some people. They're actually really tight,
Yeah. Well, yeah. I didn't really get to because most of the people that were next to me were either completely exhausted and were like a couple or something, and they were just like hugging each other, and I was like, okay. Or,
Other stuff.
just boring people, I guess.
Anyway, also on our next day, we actually got to sign up for panels.
Yeah, so Friday we went to our panels, which mine was the 70s thing. What was yours?
Actually, mine was okay. So I don't watch Fox that often, but people were lining up to watch Bob's Burgers, which it's supposedly supposed to be a really good show.
I've never seen it.
I mean, I think it's supposed to go in line with like Family Guy. Family Guy.
It's
American
an
Dad.
animated.
Animated
comedy.
animated comedy I've never heard of, but it's on Fox. I don't know, maybe you guys have heard of it. And then Zach got the easy job because no one really wanted to go to that panel that he was in, so he just sat down, watched the panel, and just enjoyed it in there.
Well, as much as I could.
And it was a cold room, and you got to sit down.
Well, yeah, it was cold. I got to sit down. Well, the only thing I had to do was make sure people don't exit through the entrance.
Yeah, that's.
But
But if
pretty easy.
if you can imagine, just imagine the opposite for me, where I'm like on line control again, and I'm trying to make sure people don't cut, because apparently people were like cutting ridiculously in line, and I'm like having to kick everybody out. And it's hot, and I have to stand outside, and I'm like standing outside with security, making sure no one, wants to jump in, because first off, it was Bob's Burgers. Everybody wanted to get into that, and then after that, everybody wanted to get into a show called Ugly Americans.
Oh, I love that show. It's on Comedy. You've never seen that?
You've seen the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never seen the show.
You've never seen Ugly Americans?
I've never seen Ugly Americans.
Do you watch TV?
Not really.
Well, that's why. I mean, and I don't even watch TV, and I'm like, I know a lot of these shows.
Well, Ugly Americans.
We're talking about.
But yeah, Ugly Americans apparently was another very popular one, which the line went ridiculously long for.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, after Ugly Americans came, what came after that? Oh yeah, they were showing a clip of Batman Year One. And that one was also popular. And I'm just like, don't cut in line, don't cut in line. I'm gonna kick you out, or I'll I'll call the security, have them remove your badge or something like that.
Yeah, basically what I did is I sat down and drank orange juice. That's about it. Oh, and then I had to run and go get some like
Kisses,
Hershey Kisses for the panel. So
I saw you run.
To give them treats.
I saw you run, and you're like trying to make yourself look like you're busy. You're like running like ridiculous, like you're like panic.
Well, he
like
said to hurry, so I didn't know. He said hurry, and then I got there and I grabbed him, and they said hurry. So I was like, oh shit, is it? Because right when I got there, the panel was done, and we had to put the candy up there again. So I made it just in time, but no, we do podcast.
And then so one of the what were we talking about? Oh yeah. So I guess on our next day, or actually, I think that is Saturday, right?
Yes.
Saturday was actually I guess considered one of our best days, because we got to
I did
go.
like Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday was a good day because we got the same panel first off, and
what was it?
It was Terra Nova. We got to see.
I thought that was the last day. No, okay, never mind. Yeah, okay, that was one of the best. Yeah,
no, because on Saturday we got to see a clip of Terra Nova. We got to meet the
Terra Nova's like a new sci-fi type dinosaur Jurassic Park type
kind of
thing.
Like combine Jurassic Park and Avatar.
Avatar.
Yeah, like going to a new planet, starting
fresh.
The
only thing that was I guess that's kind of like Avatar, but the only thing that was related to Avatar for me is
the
main character.
No,
old guy was
like
in Avatar.
No, but I describe it like new civilization. Establishing a new civilization.
Okay.
That's like we're kind of Avatar-ish.
Yeah. So there was Terra Nova, and then there was Futurama, which was awesome and funny and great,
hilarious.
And then there was The Simpsons, which I had no interest in. I
enjoyed it, even though I've seen only like a couple of episodes. I still like the series.
I never thought Simpsons was funny. I don't know. I know it's been going for a long time. I just never thought it was funny.
I think it's just because like sometimes when The Simpsons do their episodes, it relates to like something recent, and if it's like a rerun of like of an episode like 5 years ago, then you wouldn't get the joke.
Okay. All right. So then after Simpsons, it was
Family Guy.
Yay.
Family Guy and American Dad.
Funniest panel ever. Family Guy.
Okay, first off,
awesome.
We want to say the only reason why those shows were set up like that was because first off, Futurama and The Simpsons were made by
Matt Groening.
I can't remember, Matt something, but he's the creator of both of those shows. And the reason why Family Guy and American Dad are put together is because we both know
Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane created both of those. So anyway, on the Family Guy panel, that was, oh my gosh, there's no way to describe what happened on that panel.
Here's one way. They started saying cuss words, and then they watched the sign language guy, and then they started messing with the sign language guy by saying the cuss word and seeing how they did it, and then do the sign, just keep doing it over and over again, and then they say something else and learn that sign in sign language, and then they looked at their like there was a message that they
Oh,
were
yeah.
supposed to know, and it says, "Please have in mind that your audience may be 18 years or younger, so please keep it."
Please refrain from
acceptable.
from using your
And they
cursor.
just like said like flappy hobo penis, and then they watched the sign language guy do that, and then they tried to mimic it, and then they read the card, and it
And
was
then
like,
they
oh.
realized when they saw the first person up actually about to ask them a question was actually a little kid.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. So anyway, they go further on and they answer all the questions.
The whole
Very
the
funny.
whole cast was there,
except for Mila Kunitz or Mila Kunitz,
Mina
Kunitz,
Kunis.
something.
The one,
Meg.
the one, yeah,
Meg.
yeah, she plays Meg, and actually, Seth MacFarlane actually did some Stewie voices. We
Yeah.
had I forget what the name of that pedophiles guy's name, whatever.
I don't know. They got one
they
who
did-
likes Chris.
Yeah, the one who likes Chris. Yeah, he did some voices really quickly.
Yeah, they all did their voices, I think,
At some
except
point.
for Lois.
Lois didn't do her voice.
I can't remember what her
Joe,
name is.
the voiceover for Joe Swanson, he was hilarious.
Yeah. He's in a bunch of different shows.
He's in a bunch of different shows. You can easily recognize his voice. I mean, I can say right off
Yeah.
the top of my head, he's Joe from Family Guy. He's Krunk from America's Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
He's the Brock Sampson from the Adventure Bros.
Yeah, the big guy.
Yeah, the big guy. And I'm pretty. There's like just a bunch
Yeah,
you can
there's a
name
bunch
all.
that he's in.
If you just recognize like the big manly voice, it's probably gonna be him.
Anyway, so in like the future or the American Family Guy panel, what they did was they showed like clips of what's gonna be coming up, and then they went to Q&A, and then I think they showed some more clips.
Yeah, that's pretty much how the panels work.
Yeah.
They did show some sneak peeks of like all of them showed sneak peeks. I mean, Futurama,
Yeah.
they had some good sneak peeks coming up.
Like-
Simpsons, I don't know, they didn't have any. They didn't
Yeah,
really
that
have
one was
anything.
kind of boring.
The Simpsons one was kind of boring because none of the the voice actors were there. It was mostly the producers, and they were just mostly reflecting on what Simpsons has been up to.
Yeah, and then Family Guy,
New clips also
New
coming
clips.
out, which
and then
we
there
can't
was,
say. I don't know. Are we allowed to say them?
I can say Meg turns 18. Quagmire tries to get on that. That's basically some of the new stuff that they showed, and
Brian tries
shrooms. And he's like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome,
Man,
psychedelic drug, man."
that drug sequence when he got drugged
That was amazing.
That was amazing and disturbing at the
Yeah.
same time. There's no way when that
we can't describe it. You'd
we
have to
can't-
see the episode of the drug sequence that Brian has when he
know.
takes shrooms.
because
But,
I've never seen them actually create something so dark.
Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah,
weird. Anyway, so then it went on to American Dad, and we only stayed
for the secret
the first episode.
for the first episode of the new season,
Yeah, so they showed the first episode with like a hot tub and Salil Green. I think that's his
CeeLo
name.
Green, CeeLo Green.
Yeah.
And then that panel was actually really good. And then
yeah,
on
but
our
we stayed like 30 minutes extra.
over
or
our
more,
shift,
yeah, over our
shift.
But it wasn't all bad because we did get to see the first episode.
it
of
was something
American
we
Dad.
enjoyed. You
That was
know,
pretty
I mean,
fun.
working an extra 30
But-
minutes on something you like, I mean, it's American Dad. It's something you know. It's funny. But if you're working like 30 minutes over for something you absolutely don't know, it's like
Yeah, and then
Torturing.
Christian over here was like dying of hunger.
because I forgot to eat lunch before we went into our panel.
Ugh. He's like, on the first day I bought a hamburger or a hot dog for like $4, which was ridiculous.
No, I
bought a hot dog for $4 or something, $4.25
you
or something
bought
like
a
that,
hot
and then I
dog
bought
and
a muffin.
for
for like-
a total of $7.
Yeah, total of $7 flat. And he decided to not eat anything. And then the next day he brought canned.
Okay, I brought canned spaghetti and
Campbell's
canned
mozzarella. No,
like the
ravioli.
ravioli. That's what it was.
Canned ravioli and canned.
That was actually good, and that was that was a smart idea to actually because it wasn't the one where you had to open with a can. can opener. It actually had those ones where you just
Yeah,
pop
you
it
just
and
pop it off.
eat.
Though I had a homemade sandwich, so that was awesome.
Anyway, our last day for we got panels again for our last day, and it was actually an interesting day, especially for Zach,
Very interesting, yes.
because Zach finally got to see one of his favorite panels of all time,
Doctor Who. I love that show. It's amazing, BBC.
and actually, should we go into the whole story of what happened on that day?
Yeah, it's not like they can do
Yeah,
anything,
okay.
even if they do listen to this. So basically,
We all so we all signed up,
at the same time, and so
We
we
all
went
got-
into the room,
and we all got assigned to the Doctor Who panel.
yeah, we went to the room. They assigned us to the Doctor Who panel. I was crazy excited. We went in there. We were like, all right, we're ready to work. And then they're like, we don't need you.
Yeah.
And my face went from like super excited to super, super sad.
So then I was like, I don't think they're gonna really notice. So Zach, just walk over there and
No, I was going to do it anyway.
yeah.
Like, I was like,
no, you were
no,
debating.
we were walking over to the exit. And then I'm like, Christian, just turn left. Just turn left. Turn left. Turn left.
I'm
and
like,
then-
dude, you're just go. I know you really want to go on
then-
this panel.
Yeah, he didn't want. He could have.
I could have sat through that, but
And
it didn't matter. I just preferred, I don't know what I was thinking, but I just didn't really. I wasn't a big fan of Doctor Who, and I'm pretty sure my seat would have been better for some other crazed fan who would have wanted to sit down there.
well, there was a couple of empty seats. Anyway, point is, we were gonna exit. They all left. I just turned to the right because we started walking in a different direction.
And
Went into the seats and just sat down and watched the whole panel.
and he jizzed in his pants at least 10 times.
Yeah. So the only bad thing about that is the whole volunteer thing. You need to get like a slip signed, and you get a rating for it. And I needed mine to be signed still because I didn't work at all for that time. So basically, I just asked your Meder.
just he got it signed by someone else.
Yeah.
He just got it signed by someone who he wasn't supposed to, and then
And
he
then they
just
took
forged
it.
and then they
They
just took it.
So it was pretty cool. I got to see a whole Doctor Who panel.
And he enjoyed
No
it.
line. I just walked in there, sat down, watched the thing, went out, got it signed, turned it in. It was awesome.
And while you were enjoying that, I was sitting down. Actually, I was getting one of those, boring ones that you had. Except mine, when I first walked in, it was like Jewish people in comics. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's one of those kind of boring things where you just kind of sit
Yeah,
down.
then it jumped to like children's book, and then after that, it jumped into cosplay, how to dress and make yourself look really legit in Star Wars.
Yeah. So all boring stuff.
Oh,
then-
Mr. Star Wars. Anyway, beyond that, beyond the panels and beyond the floor, there were a lot of other interesting. Well, not beyond the floor. There's a lot of interesting tidbits and stuff that's happened. When we were at Comic-Con. Going back to the freebies, we got a lot of T-shirts for free.
Yeah, I think I got like 5 or 6 T-shirts for free.
Yeah,
And
that was
then-
like a minimum for us or something.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome how many T-shirts we got because I actually need a couple new T-shirts.
And I mean, there's some of them that just be like, "Hey, you want a free T-shirt?" Sure,
yeah, it was pretty cool. So we were like in this crowd and somebody was giving out stuff, and some girl comes up behind us and she works at one of the booths or one of the companies, and she would just turned around. We turned around. She handed us a T-shirt, and we were like, "Oh,
Cool.
geez, thanks."
Yeah, I mean, come on, getting a free T-shirt. How can
Yeah,
you not?
it's just for standing there. But
You could also get a free a free Pokemon T-shirt.
yeah, but you had to get like a ticket at the Pokemon booth, and then you had to go over to the Marriott, which was next to
The
Comic-Con, and then you go into the Nintendo place, and you go up to the booth that they give you the
Free
T-shirts
T-shirt.
at. You hand them the ticket,
Actually, yeah.
they give you the T-shirt.
One of the things they had
blah, blah.
2 lounges there that was actually separate from Comic-Con. Like, if you didn't have a Comic-Con ticket, you could still go to these lounges.
Yeah.
I really doubt they wouldn't know, but they had an Xbox lounge which was being held at the Hard Rock Hotel
Yep, which is on the exact opposite side of Comic-Con.
Just cross the street and then you can get there. And then
lounge,
the
which was in
Nintendo
Marriott,
lounge.
which
Over
was
there?
in the Marriott. And the Nintendo Lounge was pretty cool. We got to play this game. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like Mario Party, just
like with
not
Monopoly,
as fast, and
with more strategy. It was like
it was more like Monopoly, Mario Party.
yeah, like a Monopoly kind of
But-
Mario Party. That was it was fun. I felt kind of sad for him. Like not a lot of people were like jumping onto that game,
Well, it just means he gets to sit there and not
do anything.
yeah, and he gets paid for it. So
The Nintendo Lounge was cool. There was Zelda. There was Just Dance. There was I think there was like some Pokemon.
I
stuff.
don't-
There,
I
there
didn't
was
see
there.
anything.
Well, I saw some of the other stuff. I think they had that new
and Kirby, Zelda, Just Dance,
Pokemon.
the Mario stuff.
There was a lot of Pokemon stuff that I couldn't like.
There's a lot of stuff.
figure
And
out.
then after, like, we went to that, like, the first day to get our volunteer T-shirt, because volunteers get a special T-shirt that only volunteers can get. Like, you can't buy it anywhere.
Then
Then
was
there was the Xbox Lounge, which was in the Hard Rock. We went up there, and I wouldn't have found it ever.
I know. Neither would have
I
I.
wouldn't even have known to go in anywhere besides inside Comic-Con or the convention center. So we went in there, and we walked in, and it was like awesome. There was games all set up everywhere, and I was like, oh. And so, so we went straight to like Miss Splosion Man thing,
Yeah.
and they
And-
gave us a free T-shirt
Just for playing the game.
just for playing the game. And
which was really tight.
it doesn't matter if you failed at it or not. You play the game.
Which
you
you
get a T-shirt.
did.
Well, you have to fail at that game. There's no way you can go through all the missions without dying
Well,
once.
I mean, like you failed at like a certain part. You're like, how do you get through this?
Well, no, I knew how. It was
They
the
also had
rails part.
okay, I got to try Dance Central too, which I'm actually kind of excited for, and one of the reasons why I would buy Connect for. There was also one that you got to try, Zach. I didn't get to try it, but it was that zombie one where
Yeah,
you got
it
to
was-
hold. Okay, so this concept was like, imagine like House of Dead, except like hands free, and I think do you have to punch a zombie or something like
Yeah.
that? or-
So basically, the game kind of follows where your hands are, and you can put up your hands to block, and then you punch to make your character punch. You put your foot forward to walk. You put your foot backwards to back up. You put your right hand. You put your right hand down. Anyway, you pick up like items and stuff, and you can use them in the game by like throwing them, like actually making the movement of throwing. Or it was pretty cool. I can't remember what exactly it was called, but if I had a Connect, I would probably get it, but I'm not going to get a Connect. So
yeah,
oh
well, then there
But-
was that. I think it was called Toy Soldiers. That was
Yeah.
I enjoyed that game.
It was interesting, and I don't like RTS games. That's the only problem with that game, because it was
Here's how
a
you
mix
can
of
do-
RTS and first-person shooter.
Here's how you can describe Toy Soldiers. It's like a combination of first-person shooter and like tower defense. That's like the best way you can describe it.
Yeah, so there's like waves of enemies that come and try and kill you, and you just put towers up, and then with those towers you can control them, and you can actually shoot.
You can actually shoot while you're in the tower.
And then we got a freebie for that for playing it.
I think it was like a headband and wristbands. That was
yeah.
pretty tight.
And then also
You could also
there
get
was
free drinks.
free drinks and free pudding or yogurt
Yogurt, yeah.
and apples and oranges and stuff. But that was only if you got there in the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
Because we went later on in the day, and they were
kinda,
not
like,
giving out
ran
any
out.
more soda, and they weren't giving out
Any more T-shirts?
T-shirts or
Because they all kind of
food.
ran out.
But they did have water, which was good.
What are some other interesting things that we got to?
I think the clothing on a lot of people was very interesting. Like just
all the cosplay and
the
good stuff.
cosplaying is just ridiculous there. If you want to look it up online, you could probably go onto YouTube and just go to like Comic-Con.
2011. I'm sure there's plenty of
cosplay.
people. There's like plenty
It's
of
probably
people
gonna
that
be-
were like.
Yeah, plenty of videos.
I saw a couple of my friends dress up, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And
Hey everybody, it is Chris from Project White Rice, and apparently we had some audio technical difficulties when I was listening back to the playback. We basically summarized what we saw at Comic-Con, like all these intricate costumes and stuff. And yeah, so sorry about the audio problem. Please rate, subscribe, comment on our video, and don't forget to subscribe to Zach. He is at youtube.com/theavengingwalnut, and I am on this channel, Mr. Big Kuya. Subscribe us both if you want to check out any of our either Project White Rice or our video commentaries over video games. Zach is currently doing Nier, and I am currently doing Sly Cooper. And if you have any suggestions for our next podcast, please leave a comment on this video and it might show up as our topic. All right. Thank you.